Hello and welcome to the Success Showcase. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin from the Modern Observer Group. And with me, as always, is Chip Janiszewski from the Happiness and Success GPS. Chip, how you doing this week?
Doing great. How you doing, Eric?
Doing fantastic.
Shoveling out, looking at the sunshine.
Yeah, we're shoveling out from the storm. This was a weird one, crossed the entire country in the last 24 hours. So most folks got hit with it in one form or another. And now it's heading out to sea.
That's where it belongs.
Absolutely. So this week, we've talked about how to brand your company and different marketing strategies. Today, we're going to talk about personal branding and branding yourself. And to talk about this, we've brought in an expert. We've got Loretta Peters of Competitive Edge Branding. Loretta, how are you doing?
Hi, guys. How are you? Doing great. How are you guys today?
We're good.
Awesome.
All right, so to start us off, Loretta, why don't you tell us a little bit about what personal branding is and why somebody should consider it part of their arsenal?
Yeah, sure. First, I just want to thank you for having me on today to discuss this topic. It certainly is near and dear to my heart since I've built my business around personal branding. I started my company 7 years ago. This is going on 8 years, and I can't believe it's, this much time has passed already. And I think when you're in your business, you just kind of keep trailing and going through, But when I started, it really does. It really does. And I'm grateful, that I really found a niche as an entrepreneur in the personal branding space. And I think when I had launched the business then, it was really just starting to take hold. In fact, even when I named myself or titled myself as a personal brand strategist, people were still asking, well, what is that exactly? And why would I need something like that? And, really in the last decade, I really think it's, really at the forefront now of any business and any executive, any leader, any influencer, and it's true to say now that personal branding has become more important than ever, especially to survive and thrive in this world we live in now. So personal branding is really a unique way to, communicate your core value about yourself that helps you to stand out. So that's, just a broad way to look at it. But personal branding is an opportunity really for any individual to harness their, unique value, their unique brand attributes, their characteristics, their personality, their persona, their strengths and skills, and really pulling all that together in a way that is distinct from another individual. And then the work that I do, I help people to really, discern all of who they are into something remarkable that they can market and really gain competitive edge over someone else or just what they're selling in their business. So it's a very important way to distinguish really anyone from another person or another service that they may be selling that's in the same industry as someone else. I guess one of the best ways I like to, explain or kind of, really identify with a personal branding business now is that it really is important in a commoditized industry. So if you're a realtor, if you're a financial advisor, if you're a CPA, a lawyer, personal branding is even more important in those fields because there's so many individuals and professionals titled with those, being identified as such as a lawyer, CPA, et cetera, that it just helps, you just end up blending in this sea of similarity. And so personal branding really helps you to identify yourself differently from that. And that's why I love really the business that I'm in so much.
So it's really a way to help you stand out above the crowd. There are so many financial advisors, lawyers, as you've said. By creating your personal brand, you're giving yourself a leg up to show how you stand out from your competitors.
Correct. Right. And another, in a way to also identify with that further for someone is, the communities that they're passionate about as well. And, those are, especially, community is so important today now to be integrated into your personal brand. And everyone really most people I work with stand for something other than work that they're passionate about. And so we also identify with those areas that they're passionate about and link that to their personal brand. And that's also differentiating from someone else.
So it's more than just the work you're doing. It's what you're involved in. It's really about who you are at your core, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
So there's a lot having been talked about, written lately, about authenticity and being your authentic self. And I think that authentic self is really at the core of your personal brand. But how do you help people figure out what that authentic self is?
It's a great question. I think since the whole world has become, you have to be more authentic, it has really confused some people out there. It's also scared some people also about being really authentic, because that's really asking a person to be completely vulnerable about being really to the core of their true self, and to really, share that with the world on social media, and just showing up and everywhere, being as authentic as possible. And there's, I'm totally for this, and I believe in authenticity, and I totally am that on my brand, and show my clients how to be that as well. But I also believe there are some boundaries in some of that authenticity and what you're sharing out there. Now, other people will not agree with me 100%, but I really feel that there still needs to be some respect in the way that we are authentic online, and some people cross that line.
Right.
And don't really care. Yeah. And
there is something known as oversharing.
Yeah. I think so. And that's just my opinion. There's certainly plenty of ways to be authentic without having to be disrespectful or cross those lines, in my opinion.
Yeah. And obviously, if you're crossing the line that way, your authenticity really has a negative overtone to it. So
exactly. And some people do play off those negative brand attributes. I will say there's a, total business down that side of branding as well. Yeah. That's also successful. So, when I work with a client on, being authentic, I obviously use some tools to help them do that. Right. So I use some tools to help them unearth and extract some of their brand attributes that they may not have naturally thought of. When you reach a certain age, you kind of know what your strengths are and your skills and what you're good at. And the tools I have just take those, skills and strengths, they just go deeper, a few layers deeper, and to really unearth some things that we can create to help an individual stand out.
Yeah, I noticed on your website you have that personal brand assessment, and sounds like that's a starting point.
Yes, I use that with everyone. It's a 15-day free assessment by my coach, William Arruda, who I'm trained and certified under now for 10 years. And it is a tool I still give out to everyone, even in my talks. And, in my keynotes, I offer that assessment because it just really, it just unearths other attributes that a person might not think of. And so I use that in some of my coaching work as well. So yeah, I would highly recommend your readers check that out. Your listeners check that out. Sorry.
What are some of the attributes that go into your someone's personal brand? I mean, so far you've mentioned skills, you've mentioned strengths, you've mentioned things they believe in.
Oh, yeah.
What other things?
Core values. Yep. Good question. Yeah, core values is really at the helm of someone's brand. The core values are different for every individual. So I also work with my clients on identifying their core values as well. So it's the three together. It's the strengths, skills, and core values is the part of the methodology that I help clients, go through. It's a process, and we go through those three areas and coach on that, and really, start to build out, what could be a differentiating personal brand for them. So that's part of the process, which is super fun, and I've certainly been known for my process over the years and have it being notable and breakthrough by the way it's delivered, and in some of the other things that also result from it as well. So especially for a business owner, I always work with a business owner on branding. Everybody I work with I do branding first. I really believe that branding is the foundation for everything else that follows. I've always lived that. It's one of my core values. And I always start with a client with a personal brand, whether a business owner or an executive in career transition. We go through that branding process first, because from there, that's really the solid foundation for building any other marketing, self-marketing or company marketing on services they may offer. It also helps us discover a tagline for a business and, content for the website. All kinds of things are really, really come from a solid personal brand first. And that's really how I've based my work over the years.
You mentioned earlier sharing on social media. How does somebody showcase their personal brand on social media? And should they?
Absolutely, they should. And that, I get that question quite a bit, especially as a business owner when they want to be very professional on social media, but they also have to be human and personal as well. So what's still in right now on sharing social media is the blended sharing, which is you blend professional and personal posts. And really, what I've seen evolve on Facebook more, I think, in the last couple of years is more conversation with people. And I really think we are getting more comfortable just having conversations on Facebook, regardless of who sees the comments. I mean, I think we're just in a neighborhood. I think social media is like our new neighborhood. And we're just okay now having conversations with the people we know, like, and trust in our tribes. And I'm just seeing that more and more. And so I'm also seeing that because of the personal connections that people are making on social media, it's easier now to post an event and invite people to come, and they'll respond, if they can come, like they're in a conversation, like you and I are just in the same room saying, hey, there's an event in 2 weeks, why don't you come join me? And people are responding whether they can come or not. It's gotten to be more familiar ground and comfortable in some cases. I think, at least in my social media world, I'm experiencing that. So no, I think is to answer your question, is to share. Blended sharing is the best. You want to educate people with what it is that you do in your business, especially as an entrepreneur. And Facebook is a great way to recruit business, to make appointments, and to just educate people on what it is that you do for others. And Twitter, the same thing. And LinkedIn obviously is the business platform, which I really appreciate that it stayed that way so far. It's starting to blend a little bit. I'm seeing, some things kind of shifting a little there, but it's still mostly professional, which I truly enjoy still, and trust that site for business and to post anything business related that I may be doing. So I think it's pretty acceptable now to have that blended sharing, and more people are taking advantage of that as an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm.
Plus, it's a whole lot more personal than just shooting out email blasts to 500 people at a time and that kind of thing too. So
isn't it though? I totally agree. Messaging, Messenger and texting is also, growing as well. I'm sure you guys are seeing that. Everyone, I think, is noticing that more than email because of all the influx of emails now. So some people are looking for alternative ways to communicate and connect, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, so I would imagine that you coach people in putting together the platform as far as exactly how to communicate using all these different things, as far as the social media, possibly whatever the email program they're doing, having the website blend in with things. And obviously it's kind of like taking a puzzle and putting things together and organizing it. So, and it's probably different for everybody you deal with, just about.
Well, sure it is, because everyone's business is different. But one point to just reinstate, or that I